Hey, what's up, Golferos? Welcome back. It's Ralph, and you are tuning in to the Salud Golferos Podcast. It's been a little while since we've been on the pod. Christmas, the holidays, all that good stuff. Had a lot of fun, and that just takes up time. So took a little break from that, and 2025 started up kind of crazy. All sorts of crap going down. Most recently, the LA fires. So I just want to take a moment and just really throw our condolences and prayers to any of those affected by the LA fires. As you all know, Los Golferos started in the LA area. I have family in the LA area who fortunately did not lose their homes, but were affected a little bit by the fires. So I know a lot of people weren't as fortunate. It felt right to just continue the break. Luckily, everything has calmed down a little bit over there. So, just hope everyone is able to bounce back all right. But, season 2 of the Salud Golferos Podcast. If you look over to my left, there's the man, the myth, the legend, Eric, a.k.a. the HopDon, a.k.a. Don Bogey, a.k.a. Don Piña, a.k.a. Hop Darts, a.k.a. Yo No Sé. What's up, dog? Welcome to the pod.
Man, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute, man.
Yeah, we I know the crowd has been swanning this podcast episode to come out, and it's time. It's been how long? When did you start this? Like a year ago?
Yeah, the podcast started about a year ago. I think, last February. I think last February was kind of when we put our first episode out. And for those kind of behind the scenes, they know that the HopDon is a big supporter, a big helper of the Golferos brand. So I've been trying to get you on the pod for since day one.
Yeah.
So
it's my
due.
fault. Yeah,
it's overdue.
I think I was just waiting for the anniversary. I'm the anniversary episode.
Dang. Hey,
just
cheers to that, dog.
Yeah.
First anniversary. Yeah, let's go. And obviously, guys, like the HopDon, golf, beer, we needed it to all come together.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Dogleg. We're here in Dogleg. Shout out to Kev, Christina, and the rest of the Dogleg crew for having us back out here in this comfy spot.
I know, right? We were just talking about this, how we kind of waited for this little spot to clear up. There was a lot of people here, but we got it. Now we're pretty much not alone in the brewery, but we got a spot. This is a spot. It's comfortable. It's like hanging out in your living room, talking to your homies and drinking beers, and we love Dogleg and everything they do for the community and for golf itself. We're huge golfers.
100%, bro. Yeah. No, yeah. Gosh, guys. This is the thing you guys don't notice or like maybe even think about when you're watching like content on YouTube or TV, whatever it is, waiting for that moment to actually start filming or recording.
Right.
We've been here for a minute. We've had a few beers. There was a little league or something here.
Simulator league, and then Kevin can talk about that at some point. But they have like a simulator league, so in case it's like, it's supposed to rain tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. And so it's pretty cool to be able to play golf in a simulator. But now you have a league too. So shout out to Kev for putting that together. And, Ralph will probably get him on here to talk about it in a future episode. But
yeah, no, we definitely got to get Kev on here. I think he's in the background of the shot. Hey, shout out Kev. Throw a hand up, Kev. Throw a hand up.
Yeah, we see you.
We see you, Kev. Yeah, so shout out Kev and Dogleg for doing a lot of cool things out here. But yeah, let's focus on the guest of honor here, the HopDon. So man, I've been trying to get you on here for a long time because people don't know what you do, dog. You're like that one primo that you have that you're like, hey, what do you do for work? And you're like, I do this and that. So, can you explain to the people who you are? Because, you're a big part of what we do. You're a big supporter of the brand. Some people think that you're technically an owner. Technically not, but very,
that's
very
a hint right
ingrained
there,
and very evolved. Some people think you're an owner of Blue Fire. Some people think some people think you're an owner of Dogleg.
I'm whatever I put my hands on, I'm somehow like the owner of it. So I, a little bit of everything. I do like marketing, social media. I mean, I started back in the pandemic, like photography, and so, long story short, I lost my job during the pandemic or right before the shutdown. Mm-hmm. And so I had to like scramble. I had to scramble and figure out. Nobody was hiring, obviously, because everything was shut down. And so I had a little previous experience in photography. If you don't remember, and I think a lot of people don't realize what they were doing. Us as younger, like teenagers. I don't know how long ago was like MySpace.
Bro, that was like almost 2 decades ago.
Damn, I'm old. But,
yeah, we're getting old.
But if you and for everyone watching, and if you don't realize that you were coding back in the day with MySpace, because you have to put all these like glitters and like make everything appear on your MySpace. Yeah. So I had, I guess, like
put
a
the
little
background
bit
music and all that
stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that's part of coding. That's what you were doing. You were going in there and changing little things, and so anyway, so I figured that being not locked up in jail.
Oh, dang, he was locked up. I didn't even know that, dog. No, I'm just kidding.
During COVID, I had to figure out what to do, and so, and just I want to say I'm like a marketing guy.
Yeah.
I've worked, the whole thing with, and we'll get into that eventually, but the whole thing with breweries is, I mean, we're in San Diego, like
the Mecca.
Yeah.
And
the funny story with that, it was that one day, and let's get into it right now.
Yeah.
I had just moved up here to San Diego, and one of the first breweries that I really love, and I still love, and probably has my favorite beer, Duckfoot. Shout out to Duckfoot.
Yeah, shout out.
And I love their Dugzilla double IPA, and I was drinking at the brewery, and I saw this dude like taking pictures, like, just with his phone and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was kind of, it was weird. And I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, because he was getting on the floor too and like taking pictures.
Being on influencer status.
I know. And like, he's like, oh, I'm taking pictures, this is kind of cool. And like, I promote, and I was like, okay, cool, And at that point, I was already doing a little bit of photography. This is pre-COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
Like 2018, maybe 2017. And so I was like, cool. And like, what do you get? They're like, I don't really get anything, I just do it to help them. And sometimes I get a free beer. And I'm like,
that got you right there.
That got me on the free beer. I was like,
a free beer.
Because I was coming from being the, the Mexicano, siempre like I would go to Walmart, buy like a 36 of Bud Light or Budweiser, and I'd show up to a party and that was it.
Yeah.
And so, moving out here, realizing that like a pint glass was like $8 or something like that, I was like, bro, like this is expensive. Three or four of these, yeah. With 3 or 4 of these, I'd rather buy a 36,
Yeah.
So when this guy's like saying, I'm getting free beer for taking pictures, and I'm already doing photography, a little bit of photography, I was like, yeah, I'll do some of that.
Yeah.
And then that grew into meeting a lot of people in the industry. And just kind of knowing what they do and beer and, fast forward a little bit, I started doing collaborations with breweries, and then I started working with breweries. I don't think this is kind of like surprising, and I still think about it. I don't think I've actually worked with the brewery in San Diego at all. Like I've done collaborations. I helped with like a little bit of the marketing, but like being employed by them. I've always been employed by like outside
more like
San
a
Diego.
freelancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked at for Brooklyn for a while, River North, like all these like really good breweries, but they're not in California. And so, but yeah, I still find that fascinating that being out here in San Diego and loving the craft beer industry is I still haven't really worked with them, but like I said, I don't really have to work with them. Like Christina and everyone here, like, I just love to support Dogleg. I've been a huge supporter of them for a while. I love their Scotch Ale Origin. So if you've never been here, that's their year-round Scotch Ale, and it's pretty good. But yeah.
Yeah. No, and you said something in there that rings so true, man. Like, you love to help. Like I've said at the beginning of this episode, you always stick your neck out there. You always like say like, hey, like, let me make something, let me draft something up. Like, so it's kind of funny when you were saying that you saw this guy like getting on the floor, doing different angles and stuff like that to get the pictures. Like, guys, some of the content that I put out, I've learned from you. You're like, hey, like, take the shot this way or like do that way. So you're always open to lending a hand and like providing knowledge. So like, hey, bro, like I just want to thank you for that.
Always.
You're the homie. You know, sometimes you're a pain in my ass, but you're still the homie.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like when you see like a good product, when you see, you know, I don't want to say like, hey, these people need help or anything like that. I just kind of like, I like to support. You know, it's just part of who I am. You know, and my degree is in social services pretty much. So I've always had a passion for helping people, and it extends from, you know, like helping homeless veterans to helping like with like, you know, I love taking pictures for a brewery, you know, and like being like, hey, you know, you can have these, you know, and use them as fillers for your Instagram page or stuff like that. But yeah.
No, that's pretty cool, man. And so, you know, you start going into the marketing and the social media space of beer. So we'll kind of table that to one side. The other side, and kind of like how we got involved, is obviously through social media. But obviously, you got to get into golf, right? Otherwise, you don't start looking for these golf brands, golf pages. You have an interesting story that a lot of guys don't have. Is your wife got you into golf?
Yeah. So I don't want to say I've always watched golf. I used to watch golf before meeting her. But, you know, like como Mexicano, like I felt like it wasn't a sport that I could play, you know, or not that I could. It's not that, you know, I know there's a story behind it. On everybody's story is different. Like, I don't want to say that I had like challenges trying to play it, or, you know, I couldn't go into a golf course. None of that. But it's just, you know, I grew up playing soccer, and I tried football for a little bit, and it just didn't never work. And so with golf, it was like I watched Tiger Woods growing up, you know. And so Tiger Woods, I mean, to a lot of people, us, that it's the dude that we'd watch and be like, dude, this guy's an animal. Like, he's so good. But it would stop there. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be like this guy. I just watched golf, and that was it, you know. And then I met my wife, Britt, you know. Shout out, Britt. Britt. She's at home right now, and she allowed me to be here and doing the podcast, and she was cool about it. But anyways, and so she obviously played golf and stuff, and so she's like, why don't you just get a used set of clubs, you know? And like, you know, I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that. But, you know, I ended up buying a set of, I think it was Wilson clubs off. I might have been Marketplace or OfferUp or something. And I just started playing. And what I loved about it was that it was just so challenging. And not the challenging that just turns you off and you're like, I don't want to play this anymore. There's challenging that the challenging that like you had that one good shot and you'd come back, and then you would come back again and again. And so Britt started showing me like the ropes about it. Like, you have to do this, keep your hands in like this, like flex your knees a little bit, you know. And now, like, I was like, man, this is too hard. Like, you know, just not knowing that, you know, as you keep going playing golf, like you start even overthinking more, you know, you start making it more complicated. It's just one of those things where like you can't, you know, at least for myself, I couldn't just stick to one thing and just practice that all the time, and then where I'm going with this is that like the biggest mistake I made in the beginning was like I'd watch so many like YouTube videos of like how to do it, right? Yeah. And so you would find, you know, I don't, it probably happened to you, but you'd find that one be like, oh, I've been doing it wrong all this time, and you'd try it with like, fuck this, like it's not gonna work. Yeah. And then so you'd go and watch another YouTube video. Hey, this is gonna work, you know. and it wouldn't work, you know. And there was one, you know, that one guy, and I you know, I forget his name. It's not one of the popular YouTubers or anything, but
Yeah.
he had this swing that was so simple. And so I tried his for a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, this works," you know. And so I started playing consistently more and more during the pandemic.
Yeah.
If you remember, golf courses were almost the only thing that was open, and you'd play by yourself.
Yeah. It was
And-
beautiful. I
yeah.
loved it.
And so I would go and just play. And at that time, there wasn't that many people in the golf course because everybody was a little bit scared of COVID and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I just developed like more. I played more consistently. My wife and I started getting too competitive to each other, and so it was just one of those things like maybe we shouldn't play against each other. But yeah, she pretty much she got me into golf, like, you know, that's how. And she also got me into craft beer. And so
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like you're the two biggest things in your life.
my two biggest addictions, by the way.
Yeah, two biggest
Yeah.
addictions in your life
Yeah.
because of his wife.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of guys can say that in their lives. So, shout out Britt.
Yeah. And so it's funny because like when when she's like saying like, or like, you know, going to the brewery too much or all this, like, I'm like, you got me into it. Like, you got me into golf.
You started
and-
this
and,
addiction.
yeah, I was gonna start doing heroin, but you know, I ended up playing golf and drinking beer. So
Yeah.
thank you, Britt. I love you. I'm just kidding.
That's so funny, bro. So, obviously, the beer side and the marketing, that's a job in a sense. I mean, obviously, you're passionate about it, but how did golf become such a big aspect of like social media? Because I feel like that's how we found each other, right? Like,
Yeah.
I took over the social media for Los Golferos, and then next thing you know, you see it, and you went beyond what a normal customer would do. Like, you reached out to us, and you were like, "Hey, man, like, I love your product. Like, can we
Yeah.
link up?" Like, what was it about golf that you were like, I want to like, I want to approach it from this angle, or I want to get into the social media and all that? Like, what was it about it?
There was just there's so many avenues in golf, like, that you can kind of poach into, like, you know. And like, for example, when I saw the Golferos, I think I saw the Sarapetao. That was the one thing that I was like, that was so unique. It's just so unique to see it, and I was like, dude, this is sick. And I think the towel I have is the Kobe, you know,
The Kobe, shout out Kobe.
and I was like, dude, like, nobody, I mean, at least for myself, like, I could say that nobody was doing that.
Yeah,
And so I saw that, and I was like, dude, this is pretty sick, and it's pretty unique. It's pretty, just like, it just captivated me. I was like, cool. Like, I already play golf, but now, like, this is part of my culture. Like, I started, you know, when I reached out to you, I was like, I can see how this can connect, you know, and that's when I reached out. But it's just like I said, like, with playing the sport of golf, like, you always come back, regardless if you had like a shitty ass round, like, you always come back and play, you know, like. And we're out there, like, the amount of money we spend out there is crazy, but
bro.
But I just felt like connecting what I was already doing with golf was like something I needed in my life, in a sense. Like, you know, I was already playing it, but I kind of wanted to see what the whole industry was about. And
Yeah.
I think with Los Golferos, I kind of felt like, I think you guys, you said you had just taken over the social media, right?
Yeah. So, as a lot of people know, it started off with Raul and the guys, and when they were getting ready to kick things off, I was already like, hey, like, I want to get into the social media and like the YouTube space of it. So it was just kind of like perfect timing that when they were getting ready to kick off the business, I took over the social media. So yeah.
And so these projects like that, when I would see online, I was like, this is kind of cool, you know. I wonder if they needed help, and you know, it wasn't the help like I want to, you know, work for you guys or anything. I just felt like the project was unique enough, and like like I said, the serape tower just really caught my eye, and I was like, what can I help you with? Like without, and that's what I like, and so I figured that I could connect that. I could connect it all, not, for a lot of people that know me, it used to be just beer, and I love beer still, that hasn't gone away.
No, yeah, but, I mean, we're at a brewery, bro, right. So.
And so, but now it's beer and golf, which pairs pretty amazing. If you didn't know that and you start playing golf and you realize that, holy smokes.
Alcoholics and golfaholics, one in the same, bro. One in the same.
Yeah, so, I love that. So I just kind of figured a way to connect and reach out to golf companies and in general and just do that as well.
And over the years, that's what I've learned to understand about you is that, bro, you have no fear in reaching out to companies, and once again, man, huge props to you and shout out, because some of the connections that we have in the golf industry is because of you, and it's it's pretty insane. I don't know, where did you get that? Have you always been like that, to just reach out to people? Or
no, I don't want to say that I've always been like that.
Yeah.
But at some point in my life, and I don't know when this started happening, maybe it started happening when I just became more social, in the social media aspect. I just kind of figured, what do you got to lose, they'll say no, and then if they say no, then you move on.
Yeah.
But I think at some point I just started I loved the connections I was making. And honestly, a lot of my bigger projects started because I kind of reached out. Mm-hmm. And they said well, I know this guy that does this, and then they'll be like, all right, I started with a small company, and then, for a little while I was working for the MGM properties, mm-hmm. and it all just kind of connected. And so, and I think I could be one of advice to give people, just get out there and just try it out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, somebody might say, no, I don't need help, but just kind of keep your hand there, be like, hey, well, if you ever want some help, and just reach out. And so I think that's really important to understand and know and give advice that just get out there, and so that's kind of what I did eventually. I think social media helped me to do that a lot. Mm-hmm. And then that's how I figured out, I'll connect golf as well, and I'll reach out to golf. And like I said, I knew I love the brand. I love the Golferos brand. And I figured, how can we connect this even bigger? I still think you guys have a lot of potential, and we can make it even bigger than what it is right now.
Yeah, man, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that, because, we definitely feel the same way. And like I said, you're a big part of where we are at today. I will never deny that. I will never attempt to take that away. We're putting this out on YouTube and Spotify. Yeah. It'll live forever, hopefully.
I want a 50% of ownership.
But just the evolution of the brand, like I said, has been a big part in your support. And it's funny. So we have the golf league, right? We had that in 2024. We were thinking about shutting it down, but I think it was successful enough, and a lot of people got a lot out of it, that I'm like, well, we got to run this back in 2025. Yeah. And so, but before we even dive into that, that all started because you and I started golfing, and then it's well, we're just two. We need to fill out a foursome. We're I got a few friends. Yeah. You got a few friends.
I remember that.
There was a group chat at 10. Dude, the group chat's at 120 now?
Yeah, I think on Instagram we're about 120.
Yeah.
On the 18 Birdies app, we might be even farther into 150, 160.
Yeah.
Golferos. So, and that's here in San Diego. I think, obviously the idea and if it's possible, if it works out or not, but LA, you have a huge following in LA, and just all over the country at this point. Mm-hmm. And so, but obviously you got to keep your hands where you can control things. But yeah, here in San Diego, we have a pretty big group, and I think that's why we decided to do the league. What we got nothing to lose. Once again, just try it out, you know. Ralph was here. Ralph right here was taking care of all the bookings and stuff like that, and so we figured to just try to make it work, and I want to say it did work, but we just kind of for 2025 we're just kind of making it a little more simple and less hectic, but
Oh dang, they got the assembly going on back here, guys. So have you heard that?
Yeah,
we just had an amazing shot. Okay.
Yeah, and so we kind of just figured that we were getting some feedback from people in the group, and they were saying like, let's keep this going.
Yeah.
But there was some bumps on the road that we figured like, let's make it not as long, but still have like like you said, and like a few more majors, more money involved, so we can get more prizes out there and all that. But yeah,
definitely. And I think outside of the prizes and things like that, because there's a lot of different golf leagues and a lot of different golf groups coming up, and they all do their own individual thing, and they're great for what they were designed for.
Yeah.
But I think like the biggest takeaway that I got is unifying that group that you and I built down here, because there was a lot of guys that you and I would golf with, but they wouldn't golf with each other because we were kind of that glue, so to speak. And so with the league, like what I noticed is like that became some of the guys' like thing. It was a thing they look forward to once a month, where it's like the league is this month, this Saturday or whatever it is, and they're like, I got to be there. And they truly enjoyed it and appreciated it. So like I like look back like, man, I tell people all the time, it's like when I was working on setting things up and like, I'd be like, hey, Eric, go hit up this guy. Like, where's he at? Why is he ghosting us? And like, I got to go find this guy. Go find that guy.
Why hasn't he paid yet?
Yeah, why hasn't he paid yet? But, there's some outliers. But for the most part, the core group of the guys, they're like, dude, like, I live for this. Like this, the Golferos group, the league, like that's the highlight of the month in their golf world. So I thought that was really cool, man. Like, it's crazy that we created that. Yeah. That's so wild to me.
And along something to go along with that, it's the whole idea of like golf can be really intimidating when you first start.
Yeah, 100%.
And so part of that at starting this group was like, even before the league, it was just to get people out. Like somebody would shoot a message in the group, and I mean they still do, but and they'll be like, hey, I want to go play golf. I have like 2 spots available, and then someone would say, hey, I'm free, I can join, and then boom. And so
that's my favorite thing, bro.
Right.
Like you and I, like we could jump on a tee time here or there when people are throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I love it when I see like 2 people who are like on different ends of the group chat.
Right.
All of a sudden go play around together.
Yeah, and they don't even know each other.
They don't even know each other. They just know that they're safe within that group. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all part of the group, but I mean, I set this on our last league match over at Arrowwood. Like
that kicked our ass, by the way.
Yeah, which that kicked our ass. I think I sunk like 2 or 3 balls on the 18 on the water. So
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, but I forgot I was gonna say. Don't fuck me around me, dude.
Like, you said something at the last event. You said something at the last league event.
Yeah, and I fucking forgot. I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say. Yeah, but the whole idea of like people. I was gonna say at the last event. Somebody asked me, "Oh, do you know who that guy is?" Like, fucking, I probably have never met him, but that's how big our group is. Like, not everyone played the league matches every time. So we played the 3rd Saturday of every month, and so we had new people that they've been part of the group, but they would never be able to. They weren't able to come out.
Yeah,
and so sometimes they'd be like, "Oh, who's that?" I was like, "Oh, I haven't. I mean, I've never met him, but I know his Instagram handle, and I talked to him on there.
Yeah,
but I do not know who he is." So that kind of that's the cool part, right? Where we got to meet new people, not only from here, because there's a lot of people in North County, but down from South Bay, Central San Diego coast, whatever. Dude, there was. Man, we got people coming from LA. We got people coming from Imperial Valley. Shout out Vic.
Shout out Vic, best dressed.
Yeah, best dressed guy. He's wins prizes just because. So, but yeah, and I love that. I love that we got to do that, and we still do. Obviously, we're talking like it's ending, but
Yeah.
That's why the group started, because we just wanted to fill tea times, but also we started playing with random people. And then it'd be like, oh, how often do you play? It's like, oh, like, maybe once a month. I don't. It's kind of intimidating to get out and play. And I was like, bro, I'm gonna throw you in our group, and every time you want to play, let us know, and we'll join you. And that's just how it grew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. And like, at least early on, I felt like anytime that somebody outside of like the original or like someone that has already been established in the group, I would try to play with them. Yeah. I'm like, okay, like, I'm not saying I'm the best golfer or like the friendliest guy, but like I would make it my mission to like pair them with you or pair them with me. Be like, hey, like, we're organizing this. If you can get along with us, like you'll get along with anybody in this group.
Everyone else.
And it got to a point where like we had enough new guys coming in where I was like, dude, I can't play with like every single person here. But we started getting those, like I said, core guys who could convey the message.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of like the Omars, the Matts, the Als. And I'm missing names here because I'm on the spot, but there was a lot of those guys where I could trust them.
Yeah.
I could trust. I'm almost essentially like trusting the brand in them to be a brand representative in a way to say like, hey, like this is what Los Golferos is about. It's like we're not just about bringing our Mexican culture to the game and being like, hey, Mexicanos, Latinos only.
Yeah.
Oh, we got love for dogs here at Dogleg. So sorry if you guys can hear them in the background. But what I was saying is that, we want to get more Latinos in the game, but not just to create this little pod and then say like, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
No, it's ingrain them into the game. Like we have our golferos, as we like to say.
What do we call them?
So we have, the Rileys, the Dylans,
Corey,
homies like that.
Like, oh, how many white people we have? Like, but there's quite a few. Like, and I think not to cut you or anything, but I think one of those things that like Los Golferos is bigger than just bigger than like the Sarape towel, which is I think that's like the you have the logo, but then you have the towel, which is like. You see people like carrying the towel, and you're like, "Oh man, like
fucking sick, bro.
That's sick." Like you're in the golf course. Like when we went for Mauro's birthday, then we went to the restaurant over at the and then after you left, like some of us stayed after, and then we were just drinking in the patio, and then someone's just walking by, and like Mauro's like, "Oh shit, that fool has a Golferos towel," and I'm like, Hey, Golfero! No, we don't even know what his name is. He's like, hey, Golfero! And he turned around. He's like, what's up, man? Like, hey, we're the Golferos, dog. And he's just kind of like, I was like, oh yeah, somebody gave this to me, and I loved it, and then that's fucking amazing.
I freaking love that, bro, and it's cool how it's growing out into the community because like with any like family business or mom and pop type of business. Obviously, you're going to sell to your friends. You're going to sell to your family. And so when you see it out in the wild, as we like to say, it's like, oh, I probably know that guy. I probably met that guy. But it's starting to get to that point where enough people are like buying and supporting the brand that I'm starting to run into dudes. Like, for example, not too long ago, we were playing at our home course of El Carrizo. So for those of you who don't know, El Carrizo is the birthplace of the Los Golferos brand. And we were playing there, and I see our towel. And what we always tell people is we can tell how long you've been supporting us by the towel that's on your bag. Because we have like the Lowrider series, we had like a Dodger Blue, we had the Kobe towel. Those came out at certain points, and we always make it a point to try to give you a unique product so that you could be like, hey, like I'm supporting the brand, but I have something that's mine. I'm only a few people had this one.
Yeah.
So back to the story, we saw one of the older towels, and I was like, hey. I was telling Raul, I was like, you know this fool? And he's like, nah. And so like we like pull up, and
you're like, sock check, homie.
Sock check, homie. Ciao. And so we pull up, and before we could even say anything, they were like, "Hey, Golferos!" And I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
And they recognized us, and we're like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" And we just started shooting the shit with them, and they were cool. They were like a true Golfero. They had a 24 pack in the back.
Can't be a Golfero and I'll have that.
And they're like, "Hey, una chela," and they're like busting them out, and so yeah, man, it's really beautiful how that's
But it's that connection that you have, like, by just having the towel.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want a towel, go to the website and put HopDon for a discount. We'll talk about it later. But but it's that connection that if you see someone carrying that towel, it's just like, "Hey, what's up, man? We never met you before." But just what's up, and just kind of, if it works out, we'll throw them in the group, and if we play with them, if we don't really have to play with you guys or anything, but that's how we started, right? We would meet someone and they were like, "Yeah, I'll join, every night. I play every now and then." So that's how. But yeah, I think it's dope that you could see someone in public that you've never met before, but you have the same interests, obviously golf, but also repping the brand, and I think that's fucking dope.
I like what you said. Like, when you could see the towel, you could be like, "Hey, what's up?" It's. And that's
Saca la bolsita.
Oh, wow. Hey, cálmate.
Cálmate.
Yeah, man. No, that's been a beautiful thing, and like I said, bro, like, I got to give you your flowers because you're a part of that story and you're a part of the journey, man. So
I appreciate it. Yeah,
I really do appreciate you, bro. Yeah. But another thing that I want to talk about, though. So you were talking about early on that when you got into golf, you were like, "Hey, let me get just a cheap set, played against sports, whatever it was," and you picked it up. Dude, as of late, I feel like you've become like a really big club collector. Like, I feel like you have the craziest finds. Like, you'll find Scotties at a Goodwill and shit like that. But
I at some point, I still do, but I started watching too much YouTube, and I saw these dudes like going to yard sales or like thrift stores, and find like really cool like golf stuff or just stuff in general. But I watch the ones that go find golf, and I'd see this guy find a Scotty Cameron, that's worth like $10,000, one of those Circle T putters or something. And so I just like, dude, like, I just figured like, let me go and try this, and I think it's worked a few times. I mean, I have a lot of golf stuff, because I find a lot of crap that I don't need. And thankfully the garage belongs to me and the backyard. And so I get to just, but I still have to, keep it organized, so that's why I do sell a lot of it every now and then. But, I walked into, I think it was a Goodwill, and I found a Scotty, and like, I was like, when you find a Scotty at a Goodwill, you probably like, it's probably a replica or something. And I did one of the tests, and I know there's a lot of Scotty pros out there, and like, is like, you grab a magnet and it can't stick to the Scotty, but you could feel like the magnet kind of, when you like, I'm losing my. You grab the magnet. This is the Scotty right here. You grab the magnet and the two ends kind of, you can't, how you like when
it repels the magnet
so just very gently
as the opposite polarity.
That's what I wanted to say.
There we go. Wow, look, I'm educated.
And so you do that, and if you feel it just a little bit, it doesn't have to be all powerful and stuff. It's I mean, that's one of the signs it's legit.
Okay.
And then I took it to the Scotty gallery, and they were like, "This is real," and I was like, "Cool," And then they're like, "How much you think it's worth?" Well, the condition when I got it wasn't so great. But it was like worth like $200-$300. Because it's one of the older models, and then they didn't make a lot of them and whatsoever. And then I decided to customize it or take it to this place that does the painting and just kind of pretty much brings them back to life.
You didn't go through Scotty for that one?
No.
Okay.
And so and I ended up selling it for like, I think it was like $700 or something like that.
Holy shit.
And so so I kind of do that as a hobby now. Just kind of go around and look for stuff, and if it works out, cool. If not, I end up buying my kid some sort of toy or something.
So okay, so you found that one, and then I know of two other, actually three others. So that I know of, you've had at least 4 Scotties in your possession. How many total have you had outside of the ones I know of?
I think I have about 10.
10?
Yeah, 10 Scotties.
And did you find them all like just?
I have a circa. Is it a? I think it's Circle T actually. It's worth about. It's just worth about 3-4 grand, and I found that in Rancho Mirage at a Goodwill out there. Yeah.
The fuck, dog.
And that one I had to quadruple check.
Did you take it to
yeah,
the Scotty store?
I took it, and they were kind of like, oh, I don't think this is it. And then they actually they held on to the club, and then they had it quadruple checked, and they came back that it was legit. And so that one's still sitting at the house.
Yeah.
But then I have like 3 or 4 other right now at the house too. As we were talking earlier with Carlos, I sold one to Carlos because the dude had a pretty shout out Carlos. I'm about to burn you, but pretty horrible putting game last weekend at Arrowwood. I was like, you need a new putter, bro. And so he got one, and so far he's golf is like you'll have one great day and a lot of bad days. So he had a pretty good day today with the putter, and hopefully it just helps him a lot. But yeah, so I try to buy and resell as well, but most of the time it's just because I just enjoy going and finding old crap that I don't need. And yeah, I'm turning 40 this year. I shouldn't have said that, but I feel like I'm just doing old people stuff now, like.
Hey man, they said golf was an old people sport, but it's becoming a young man sport. So
I don't know. Like I was talking to the Omar the other day. I was like, bro, do you ever just play and just kind of feel hurt for the next 3 days? Like, yeah. And so I was like, he's like, and I think I told him like, I think it's time for you to start carrying a Tylenol for the turn. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, bro, I carry Tylenol extra strength, so on the back 9 I take one and. That way I'm not that sore.
Bro, you popping pills on the back 9?
Popping pills, bro. That's what I'm saying. I'm about to turn 40, but it's
Wait, are you coming after Taco's title instead of Tacos at the turn? Tylenol at the turn?
Tylenol or pills at the turn?
Pills at the turn.
I want to do a broader audience. I just don't want to concentrate it in Tylenol.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you take, that's at the turn. So, but yeah, so. Yeah, and so I feel like I'm doing a lot of older people stuff now, and then I sit outside my garage and like put some oldies on, watch my kids play on the street, have a beer, and I'm like, if I was a coffee
music, it's a little Rob, on the back.
There you go, and but that's all I'm doing these days. I'm just like doing old people stuff, and golf is, I know right now it's like. Blown up to where like the younger generation is just really into it, and I think that's great. My 5-year-old just started taking golf classes through her school, but but I love it. My 2-year-old's getting into it as well, so I got them both sets. I think I sent you some pictures of them, like their tailor-made clubs and stuff, and so I love that they're starting so young.
Did you see Sunday came out with kids bags?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
We're going to have to hit you up and make a run for it.
Shout out Pat and the team over at Sunday.
Hit us up, Pat.
Yeah.
We got enough kids to fill up an order. But so that's just something I do, and I love it. And I don't just do Scotties, but Scotties tend to have a lot more value these days.
Yeah. The Scotties, I feel like Scotties are the trading cards of golf. They're comic books, trading cards, like whatever is that equivalent in the nerd world. And I'm a nerd, so I can say that. But because dudes will like trade Scotties.
Yeah.
Head covers, Scotties, grips, like.
We happen to live obviously in San Diego, right by the gallery.
Yeah.
And so, for those familiar with it. They carry everything there, and so they're special about who buys in a sense and what you're gonna buy. But a lot of the people resell like for a lot. Carlos, the blacked out Johnny Racer, a mallet cover that I gave him with the putter. Used at resells for like $200 on eBay, and I showed him like, this is how much it sells for used on eBay.
Yeah,
and I was like, you pretty much, make your money back. Obviously, it's for people that can't come out here, to the gallery and get all that stuff. That are huge Scotty Cameron.
I never realized how spoiled we were with that. Like,
yeah.
Like to just go to the Scotty Cameron store and all that, because I think of like these big chain stores or like, I think of like Dick's Sporting Goods and Golf Galaxy. Like, yeah, you can get a Scotty like in your hometown, but to say you can go to the Scotty store in Encinitas and go see, like, because they like come out with like their daily putter, and that's like the putter they made for the day, and like whoever gets it. So.
And I can and we'll shoot this question in our group, or maybe you can put it on the Golferos stories, like who has been to the gallery. And I don't think a lot of people have been there. I mean, I didn't really go to it till probably a few years ago, and I knew it was there, but I also think, obviously Scotty Camerons are pretty expensive. So not a lot of people like. I mean, the fact that I have these many Scotties is kind of mind blowing, right? Because they're expensive putters, and they feel great. Don't get me wrong and everything, but some people swear by them, but also some people just swear by their $10 putter that they found in the swap meet.
Whatever works. But one thing I want to ask before I forget it, and I don't know if this has changed, but. Is the Scotty Cameron store by appointment? I can't remember.
It used to. I haven't been. I actually want to go maybe this week or next week again. I haven't been to it in a minute. But it used to be by appointment, and during the pandemic, it used to be you would fill out a sheet outside.
That's okay. Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah. Because I've only been there twice.
Yeah.
And so my story about the first time I ever went to the Scotty Cameron store is. I used to work in Del Mar, so on my way home, I had to drive by it. And I remember one time I was in the car with my brother, and we had just like got gung ho into golf, and I was like telling him, I was like, hey, like, I think I'm getting good enough. I think my next step is to improve the putter in the bag. I was like, we're in the Mecca. All the brands are here.
Right.
I Googled it. Everyone's into Scotties. I was like, let's go look at the Scotty Cameron store. Supposedly it's right here.
Yeah.
I walked. We drove over. We parked, everything like that. I got off, walked up to the front door, and the dudes just looked at me like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like they weren't mean or anything. They weren't condescending or anything in any way. But they looked at me like, "Hey, how's it going? You have an appointment today?" And I was like, "An appointment?" I was like.
I don't even have a putter.
I was like, I'm just driving by and like I saw that the store was here and I'm gonna check it out. They're like, oh, okay, man. Well, like, yeah, we're appointment only right now. And I was like,
and how long ago was it? Like 2 years ago?
No, dude, this is pre-pandemic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is pre-pandemic. That's why I was asking. Like, I don't know. After that time, Raul had bought something or had sent something in to get customized. So, yes, he needed to go there, and he had an appointment, or Raul can correct us on that, but he knew what he needed to do to go in and get what he needed to get. But ever since then, I was like, I'm not at that level yet.
I've heard a lot of different stories with that. So, like I said, a few times that I've been, or that I remember, but also like what I heard was like they used to do the fill out the paper and what do you want or what do you need? Yeah. And you couldn't go in, they would bring it out, you'd pay for it, and that was it. Another one that didn't happen to me, but I heard, and whoever is like an avid gallery goer can probably confirm this, but
Camilo in the group.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say when I was talking about my circle tee, Camilo, he has a shitload of Scotties. Yeah. Expensive ones, too. Oh, yeah. He carries like 5 Scotties in his bag, and yeah.
I think he's got enough Scotties to, like, play probably like 10 rounds and not use the same one. So he's got 10 Scotties, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe even more.
Not trying to put him out on blast like
Yeah.
that. It's just like the man loves Scotty Camerons. And
Yeah.
I feel like this conversation has definitely gone down the Scotty Cameron rabbit hole. Just because, like I said, I feel like you took golf and you ran 100 miles an hour at it. Like you went into collecting clubs and the social media and stuff like that. So, the other thing I wanted to ask you though is, and you kind of were talking about it, is like you can get the $1 putter or you can get the Scotty Cameron.
Yeah.
I myself actually just made the move to a Scotty because I've been looking for the milled face, the square back.
Yeah, you've been wanting one for a while, so.
Yeah, I've been wanting one for a while, so I finally pulled the trigger. I played 2 rounds with it so far, and I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
Like it feels like the best thing I've ever used, and I'm not like trying to throw, credit over to Scotty. You guys play what you want. It's just what I wanted. But for you, do you feel like you play well with it, or is it more of a look thing for you? Because like I said, you kind of went down that rabbit hole and started. You're a collector of Scotties.
Yeah.
Let's just say what it is.
Yeah. I think I personally believe that in regards to putters, like I think you just have to practice.
Yeah.
You just have to practice, and what you're practicing with if it ends up working for you, then ride it. Ride it out, and there's definitely putters that feel better, like the Scotty. I don't want to say, because Scotty is not the only brand that does milled putters.
Right.
Let's get that out.
I feel like they're just the most famous for it.
They're just the most. The most famous for it. But there's plenty of golf companies out there that do milled putters. But I think it's got to be like a mix of. Obviously, they feel great.
Yeah.
It could be a flex as well. Like if I might have a Scotty. And especially if it's a rare one, or even if it's not a rare one, like they're still expensive even at the basic price.
Yeah.
But it could be like, it's expensive, it feels great, it's a flex, and you just feel like, I better fucking play like the greatest fucking putter out there because I just paid so much money. And in golf, like...
Bro, that's how I felt my last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I was like, this putter has to fucking work. Like,
Yeah,
I was like locked in. I'm gonna putt.
I can't. You can't spend no more money, and if this doesn't work, then just go back to.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that could be one of the things I always say. Like, if you're spending so much money on golf, like on equipment, then you got to make that work.
Yeah.
But also like we all know it's practice. There's some. I'm not gonna say who because I don't think I can remember, but. There's a few people in our Golferos group that play some of the oldest clubs ever, and like they're pretty good. And so it's all like obviously practice and all of that. But in regards to Scotty, I think they feel great.
Yeah.
I do have a shout out to Omar for hooking it up, but
shout out Omar, the homie.
It was a Callaway. It was an AI 7, I think, putter, and that putter feels great. It's not milled or anything, but it worked for me for a little while. Right now, I'm playing this like old Futura that my kids kind of colored for me, and then just out of I love it. And I look down on it, and it's just like stick figures and flowers and stuff like that. But I look down and I'm happy. And you need happy thoughts. Happy Gilmore. Shout out! It's coming. The new movie or show is coming out.
Yeah.
Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. So when I look down and I'm putting that old ass Scotty Cameron, I kind of was like, "Hey, this is happy thoughts," And
yeah,
it's been doing okay. But I might switch at some point back to the Callaway, or I do have a fastback, Scotty fastback, 1.5, and
yeah,
I love that one because that's not like a big mallet, but it's kind of like obviously it's not the square back.
Yeah,
but it's like the more like round back, and
okay,
and so
I
I've
know
always
what you're
liked
talking
that
about,
one,
yeah.
and so I think you just got to practice it. But I do think that there's some of the Scotties are some of the best putters out there. made putters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, like you guys, you play whatever you think is right, and to your point, like whatever you practice with and makes you feel comfortable, like play it. Like I'm not trying to pressure anybody to buy a specific brand because that's not what we're about, and yeah, we're just talking about the passion that we have for that.
Yeah.
But
we're not getting any cut from Scotty for this.
A cut of anything.
Yeah.
So
we still have to pay full price.
Right. That price hurts though. That's what I'm saying. Like it's making me putt because I'm like I can't afford to go anything higher than a 2 putt. But no, that's cool, bro. And I think the next thing that I really want to talk about is kind of like the evolution of the game. So we've been talking about like the social media, kind of the collector side of golf. I feel like there is an avenue. You kind of even said it yourself. There's kind of different avenues within the sport, and a lot of different people are playing. And I think we see that nowadays in green fees and how busy golf courses are. Now, we're a brand, and you're a supporter of the brand of inclusion and having different people being involved in the sport. But do you feel like now maybe golf has gotten a little too overcrowded?
I think for the price that everything's at right now, like I'm surprised it's gotten so overcrowded.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about golf being expensive, it's not just being, we're not being cheap. It's like on more, like we were just talking earlier while we were waiting for this area to clear out about how we used to play Twin Oaks for like $60, 65, and now it's like 120.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the course has improved a lot.
Yeah.
Now holds like qualifiers for the Farmers or for the Open. And so they have to put money into it. And so all that transfer, like the whole business side, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
The overcrowding is the popularity of the sport has just gone, and the mix of brands that never really used to do golf, like now they're in there and they are just creating like this hype of like, hey, I want to start playing golf, and not realizing that's just one of the biggest addictions they will ever get into.
Yeah,
because now you're trying to, not only are you trying to buy the best clubs. We're talking about Scotty. We're talking the best irons, the best this, and now we're like looking into clothing too, right? Like you got the new shoes and everything out there just brings into an overcrowding. And with that said, I do think that courses are they're more concentrated on bringing in the numbers and making sure that they're making the money, and not really looking into the quality of is what I'm trying to say, like the quality of the time you're being spent. Like a lot of the times it's so overcrowded that you're sitting at a tee box for like 10 minutes waiting for one and sometimes two groups to like go. Because everything is so packed into there, I think the lowest I've ever seen a tee times is like 7 minutes, and that was like terrible.
Bro,
I can't remember.
7 minutes?
And it was just like, by the time you were teeing off, there was already someone behind you. It was just kind of.
Yeah.
I think that was. It could have been.
Put him on blast, bro. Put him on blast.
I'm trying to remember. I can't. But yeah, I remember that, and I looked at somebody was playing with this. What are they like? What's like? How far off are they? Like, oh, and I looked them all, and they're like 7 minutes apart, and I'm like, this is crazy. I think the lowest I've done before that's 10.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of gnarly. And so the overcrowding is it's not about being snobby or anything. It's just understanding like that we often play ready golf.
Ready golf, yeah.
But that's because we have the option to do that. We're not trying. But when you're playing ready golf because like it's just overcrowded, that's different. It's not.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not trying to be snobby or anything. It's just understanding that. With golf, there is legitimately like you have to really look into your yardage. What are you going to hit? Take like maybe 2 practice shots at most. I that's my opinion.
10, dog. 10.
But
10
some
practice swings.
motherfuckers go out there with like 10 fucking shots and like practice shots, like, and I'm in that same group where at some point, like, you're taking all these practice shots just to fucking go up and hit a fucking shack the ball.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, you got all your good. I always say, like, when you go to the range, you hit all these really good shots, and then you just got them all out, and then you go play, and then you're just shacking everything. But
well, dude, that's what Raul says. Raul doesn't warm up.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't want to waste all the good shots on the range.
I'll say that every now and then, but I think I do it more because my big ass just needs to stretch, and like my body needs to get used to like swinging and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do believe that. I mean, we know the whole thing with golf ranges, and you go to the golf range and you're like, "Fuck yeah, I'm hitting so well."
Oh, dude!
And then you show up,
especially
at the
when
course.
it's off mats.
I know.
No, mats
do not hit off mats unless that's the only thing you have around you. That's just so misleading. I think mats. What comes from that is that if you're working on a shot, you can go to the mats. If you're working on a shot, if you're like, just work on that swing, and then just transfer into grass. Yeah. I know there's not a lot of golf ranges that have grass, and so I get how, like, well, all I have is mats. That's fine, But that's why when we show up at the golf course and we're hitting off the grass, it's completely different. Yeah. They're just not used to it. They show a video where, like, the club comes down on the mat and it makes the ball bounce. It's in slow motion, so you're hitting, and even if it just kind of swipes the mat, it creates enough force for the ball to like jump just a little bit,
and tee itself up.
Yeah, and that's why you hit so clean sometimes, right? Because the
I didn't even think about that, bro.
Because the bounce of the club, like, it's just making that ball just like, if you were gonna like hit it thin or something. Yeah, not anymore, because the mat and I gotta post that video. I saw it somewhere not too long ago, actually. Yeah, the mat actually creates the bounce on the ball, and boom, and then you hit a great shot. And so I was like, this, and I'm telling, this was like maybe last month when I saw the video. I was like, boom. Now I know why. It's sometimes and don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm on the mats and it's just like I can't even hit. It's like I forgot. Yeah. But it just, that slow motion shot really showed when the club is coming in and it's scraping the mat. Yeah. The ball jumps just enough for you to hit it so clean. Yeah. And so that was mind blowing to me, and I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, dude, I never thought. What the heck?
Yeah, I'll show you that video, and it's just like, that is crazy, dude. Here we thought we were professional PGA bound players, and we get to the grass and it never worked, and we were never even close to being PGA players.
Well, see, I always heard, like, don't hit off mats because it makes you better, but I never understood why, and that makes so much sense as to why. So, like, I would always go to Hodges. Yeah. Because Hodges has grass. Yep. So I would hit there, and I would chunk a lot and stuff like that. And eventually, my game got better because I was like, okay, like, this is how I make the contact. This is how I hit the ball, out of a divot. Because sometimes on those grass ranges, some people don't know how to use a fucking range and, make divots everywhere. But also, too, to your point about mats, is like, you have to learn your swing to understand, like, was that a good shot for real? Yeah. Or did the mat help me? And, like, not saying I'm, like, crazy good or anything, but I know my swing now. Like, when I go to the range, right, I'm like, damn, the mat just helped me there. Yeah. Because I totally chunked this shot, but, like, it helped me, like, like you said. Yeah. Now that makes sense. It popped up.
It just popped just enough, and it doesn't look like because they do the replay regular speed, and the ball doesn't look like it goes up. It just hit it, boom. Yeah. But in the slow motion, as you're like in that little space that it has once before you hit the ball's already like a millimeter, like, I don't even know, high enough to it tees itself up and just like boom. Yeah. And that is where it creates like false
feedback
that you're like, oh, I'm doing great. Yeah. And like I said, I think the match should only be like, if you're driving, Obviously, I would suggest the mat.
Yeah, you're gonna
because
tee it up
You're gonna
anyway.
tee it up anyways.
Yeah.
But just to like you just work on your swing, and then but know that once you go into the grass, and I'm sure a lot of golfers know this already, but for those who like are watching and they might not know, the mats are just misleading, and they will always be misleading to your actual shot, your actual lie in the grass.
Yeah.
Man, I want to show you that video now.
Yeah, now I want to see this.
So
I might make it
mind blowing. We're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing for, I don't know, I want to say 8-9 years now,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until like last month that I realized that's why we feel so good
I want to like.
that we got a shot.
I'm gonna have to like Google this or something like that. Like, what the heck is going on with the mats? That's crazy though. Gosh. I'm like fucking mind blown right now.
I know it's mind blowing. In fact, I feel like I'm a professional instructor or something, telling people that.
There's gonna be people watching this and they're like, "You guys just figured that out? Like, what the fuck?"
Yeah, you're fucking dumbasses. Like, you thought this was cool, and like, no, dude, like just.
Man.
But that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's how golf is just mind blowing as it is.
Yeah,
and when you find out the little things, that's the other thing. A lot of the times we go into playing golf, like when you're just starting, just buy an old set. But as you move, progress through it all, I think fitting is probably some of the best things you can do. Yeah. And a lot of the people are like, well, that's expensive. But if you're spending the amount of time and money trying to play, why not just get fitted for it, Yeah. I'm not, I just got, I don't want to say I was always one of the ones that got fitted, but when I got fitted for my hybrids, which, are my bread and butter, because I can't hit the driver to save my life. When I got fitted for the hybrids and like they discussed the shaft and the lies and everything, it was almost like the same reaction as like when I saw that video with the golf ball in the mat. Yeah, it was just like, holy shit! I'm here trying to hit a
flex points and lie angles and lofts. Right. Yeah,
I was like, I'm here trying to hit a freaking hybrid and it's not working because it's just it's the wrong lie, it's the wrong shaft.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you're just starting, I think it's fine. But if you're investing the time and money, like I personally think you should invest like in a fitting, but like if you can't afford a full fitting, invest in your best club, right? And so for me, my hybrids have always been my bread and butter, like I said. And so I said, I'm gonna, get fitted for this, and I think it's worked so far.
Yeah.
With the driver, I just haven't given it the time of day. I keep saying like I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna. But no, for my hybrids.
I can't remember the last time I've seen you hit a driver.
I know. I think I just use it to hang my towels. Yeah, to look nice.
Because to your point about investing in your best club, like the hybrid is your best club. Like I've seen you use the hybrid from like off a tee box, 200 yards out to like 140 yards out.
Yeah,
just because you know how to control it.
Yeah, like, I can probably just play a whole fucking course with hybrids. I can putt with the hybrid. If I can get off the beach with the hybrid, but no, I can't. I play enough with them that I can pretty much like use my hybrid for like the longer stuff, and obviously putting is putting, and getting off the sand is a different thing.
You have 10 putters, you'll figure it out. Yeah. So once you have that good club and you learn everything about it, then you're like, like if you have to choke down on this one, if you just if it's a longer drive, you just kind of know what to do. And so I think I this one time, because I've only done it once, maybe twice, I only had like my hybrid, I had like a 8, and I had my putter and a wedge, and I went and played Twin Oaks, and that was it. That's just all you needed. Yeah. Which, in a sense, sometimes we carry 14, 15 clubs, and obviously you never use all of them, but that kind of just made me like, to your point, where like I have so much experience with my hybrid that I can just use that to just get to hit the fairway or not hit the fairway, and then just putt. And that's it, And so. But I would just recommend to you just get fitted for that one thing that's good for you. If it's your putter, like
there is actual fitting for putter, and there's so many little things out there in golf that you're just like, oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Which was kind of the whole other side of it that makes it complicated, right? That you're just like, you read something, you're like, oh, I haven't been doing this. Like, it wasn't until last year, I think, maybe that I found out that you can actually get fitted for a golf ball, for what you're hitting. And that to me was like, a lot of us would just go to the golf shop and buy what is it, 12 golf balls?
Yeah, a dozen. Yeah, get a dozen.
A dozen golf balls and just feel like, cool, I'm just going to hit this. And if it's not, depending on your swing, like that golf ball is not going to help, And so a lot of people do have the thing where like they can pick up anything and hit. Like Dylan, he's a fucking robot and he can hit anything in the.
Gosh, dude.
I hate him. I hate that guy so much, but he's my neighbor and you just gotta love him, But he's great. He's a great golfer. He has a great set of hair, and then he can hit anything. But no, yeah. So yeah, with the whole thing getting fitted with the golf ball is it was crazy. I was like, dude. But here you are, been buying, and don't get. That's what I'm saying. Don't get too much into detail with that, because I don't want you guys to go like, oh, I want to get fitted for a golf ball, for this and that. Just do it, a little bit.
I think golf balls got to be trial and error. Like to what you were saying earlier is like, what's your best club? If you can get fitted, like if you can't get fit for the whole bag, get fit for, like you said, the best club.
Yeah,
and then I think you have to do a little self-evaluation of like, okay, like, what am I missing from my game? So like Omar was helping Raul and I by having us play a softer ball. And I love when Omar does this. So like he's not a club tester or like a fitter. That's not his role. But he'll be like, hey, try this. Try this out. Yeah. Do this. Do that. And I don't know, maybe somewhere down the line he'll become a fitter, but you start to tweak, and that's the thing, you have to tweak what you're doing in golf until because like what's that saying that performing the same action over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity or whatever. I maybe butchered that, but it's so true, because like if you want to improve, don't expect the same actions to get you different results. So like you gotta start tweaking things, and like I think that's the thing about us golfers is that we will forever be changing and tweaking
all
things.
The time.
And so like I like your point of like, okay, work on your best club. Cool. Let's get fitted for that. Let's change it. Let's tweak it. All right. Now I'm hitting the ball well. How do I make it better? Is it the ball itself? Is it this? Is it that? Like you got to tweak little things. Like for me this week, last month, I was like, cool, I found my swing again. I'm hitting the ball well. And then I kind of went through a slump, and I just realized this week it's because, I'm not turning my hips.
Right.
You're never, ever going to like 100% figure it out. Something's always going to...
You're always going to forget that one thing.
Always going to forget something, yeah.
Like I was talking to Scott when we played, when we were playing Arrowwood for the final league match. And I was telling him, like, I always say this to myself before I start playing, like, taking your time on that swing. And I'm not, like, we were just talking about don't take freaking 10 practice swings.
Yeah.
But, like, a lot of the times, like, I just go up to the ball and I just hit it.
Yeah.
And then I'm wondering why didn't that work? Why, like, going back, like, well, the range worked pretty well. But, like, in the range, you're actually taking your time. Most of the time, you're actually you're practicing, right? And so a lot of the times, like, or like when you think you're lined up straight to the pin, but you're actually... That's
my worst thing.
But
my
then,
alignment?
Like, and then your alignment is like, bro, the whole reason they went that way, like, even with Scott, I mean, Scott has a great drive and everything. And I me who can't drive the ball, they say like the best teachers are those who don't know how to do it. Like
if you can't do, you teach.
Like in the back when he was smoking that like 280, 290, but then it was going right. And I'm like, Scott, I think you're starting to get too close to the ball. Like you need to move back a little bit, because when he was lining up, you could see that it was on the heel. And I'm like, so when you're coming in, that's where you start doing. He's like, let me try it, and you just and it worked out.
Just straighten it out.
And the thing is that when you're playing, you are like that repetitiveness becomes like too comfortable for you.
Yeah.
And so your body starts getting tired, regardless of how fit you are, and then you start getting lazy with your swing, with your setup.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you think your alignment is off, but you're like, why did it go that way? And then you have your typical friend who every now and then happens, like they'll bring like the club and be like, put it right next to you, and then you feel like, oh shit, I am all the way to the left, pointing left, or all the way to right.
Yeah.
And you didn't slice or hook, you just went that way because that's where you were in line.
You just aimed at, yeah.
And so I think when you're playing, you kind of forget that. Like you'll have your first few holes, or sometimes it's a back nine that works for you, because then you start realizing, what am I doing wrong in the front? And then you work on it in the back, or you start really good, whatever works, but you just forget to do that. And to me, when I was talking to Scott, I was like, I'm just rushing to the shot. Yeah. My biggest issue is that when I see distance, I want to force that.
Oh, you want to kill it every time, bro. You're like
on the 18, like on the 18 over there. For the first one, I was like 220, and I was like, okay, I probably my 3 hybrid could do that. I'm having a little rotator cup issues, but I'm seeing distance, but I'm also seeing water, and I'm like, I gotta smoke this.
Yeah.
And so there I go, boom, in the water. And so that's the other thing we need to keep in mind. Don't force the club. The club will do its work. I know we see like on TV, on YouTube, we see these motherfuckers like smashing this thing 400 yards, but that's not us, and at least will never be us.
No.
And that the one thing to keep in mind is that you just let the club do the work. That's all it is.
Dude, like, who was I just talking to recently? Slow is fast. Or no. They were saying something like smooth is fast.
Yeah.
And basically, like, yeah, because we get to this point where you see distance and you're like, I want to kill it. I got to go faster. I got to turn faster. But name of the game is contact, bro.
Yeah.
Let the club do the work. Swing smooth.
Contact.
And make contact. Like, if you had to grade contact on 0 to 100% and speed 0 to 100, take 100% in the contact every time. If you're swinging at like 70, 80%, take the contact. Yeah. But, guys, we're not coaches. We're not PGA pros or anything like that.
If you're just starting, I could be a coach for you, and tell you what works.
We're just talking from our experience here. But,
yeah.
I wanted to move on to another topic here. One of the last topics I had for you, we were, at the beginning of the episode talking about the fires and unfortunately how it affected everyone in LA. On a less serious note, golf is secondary when it comes to people's lives, homes, and all that. But the fires got close to Riviera. And so, out of respect, we're not having the Genesis at Riviera this year. It's coming down to Torrey.
Yeah.
Torrey's going to host 2 tournaments this year. And, dude, I feel like it's just like compounding things. But, the host of the Genesis is Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Tiger lost his mom. So, RIP and condolences to Tiger and the Woods family.
For sure.
But dude, what do you think about that? The Genesis coming to San Diego.
I mean, obviously it's exciting because we have usually us as San Diegans, we look forward to
the farmers.
You know, that every year, the farmers is our PGA event, and so hearing obviously out of the disasters and stuff that happened in LA was just kind of having it come here. I was like, oh, that's cool, Yeah. And obviously Tiger, he's been on and off, but usually he plays it. This is his event.
Yeah.
And so, he confirmed it probably 2 days, 3 days before, and then obviously he just pulled out due to everything that happened with his mom and that. So, but I think it's great. I think it's great to have another event out here. The weather could be not favoring, because it's supposed to rain. There's supposed to be a lot of rain coming down the next 3 days.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's great. I love going to watch golf and stuff because then it makes me realize how much I suck.
Bro, that's so true. Gosh,
I should have not played soccer or anything. I should have just started playing golf at a young age. But yeah, Yeah, I think it's cool. I know obviously a few people in our group are going, and then
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. Bro, it's so funny. When you said I shouldn't have played soccer, I should have played golf. I feel like there's two things in our generation that we always say we should have done, like in the third grade. We should have picked up golf and we should have bought a house.
Yeah.
That's what we should have been doing in the third grade. But no, yeah, man, I agree with a lot of what you said there. And, you know, it's really awesome that the Genesis is here in the sense of San Diego opening its doors to our neighbor up north, LA.
For sure.
The people know I have, you know, a lot of love for LA. That's where my family's from. But I love San Diego just as much because it's where I'm from, where I grew up. So it's really cool that Torrey opened its doors, its gates, doors, whatever you want to call it, to the Genesis. So the airing of this episode will be, you know, during round 2 of the Genesis. So just hope that, you know, it goes well. Like you said, we're going to have to deal with some rain. We'll see if they let them play through it or what's going to happen. Torrey's a bitch on a normal day. So add some rain in there.
That's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, bro. So I got to know, man, who's your dog in the fight? Who you rooting for this weekend at the Genesis?
I actually want Jordan Spieth to win.
Jordan?
He's been out for a while. Like, he hasn't been on the spotlight. He played pretty well. Was it
at Pebble?
Pebble.
Yeah.
He played pretty well at Pebble, and I kind of just saw a glimpse of what he's actually is able to do, you know. We all know the whole, how he just kind of went down after that match, but a few years back. But yeah, I think Jordan Spieth. I think I want him to do good, you know, because then it just opens more. You know, this is another topic for another, but like just opens more for like not expecting like Scotty to win all the time now, you know, and I know he doesn't win. He has. I mean, it just started, so he's not super heated in there, but. We know that when Scotty starts heating up, then that's it, you know.
Yeah.
And so
once he gets going, like it's hard to catch him.
I see Rory, you know, glimpses of Rory as well. He's been doing pretty good, but yeah, Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth is my cat, my dog.
I respect it.
What about you?
Dude, so anytime that the PGA is in California, and you know people. Come after me all you want. I don't care, but I go for my Cali guys, man. You know, I love to see the Max Homas, the Colin Morikawas, the Tiger Woods. I want to see them succeed.
Is Xander playing it?
Yeah, that's a good question because
he obviously
I don't think he played the Farmers.
No.
So that was so I was thinking about this the week of the Farmers because I was there.
Did he play Waste Management?
I didn't see him.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
He didn't do so well.
Yeah. But with that being said, yeah, I'm probably rooting for Colin.
Okay.
I'm a big Morikawa fan. Irons typically is the best part of my game, and you know I love watching good iron play, and he's one of the best iron players I think in the game.
Yeah.
So
I mean the way Xander finished last season, it was great. So I expect a lot of him this season as well, but. You know, when they interviewed him after obviously losing that last match to Scotty, not losing to him, but that Scotty won it.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I just played the greatest season of my life, and I still couldn't beat this guy. That's how good Scotty is. But I also felt like, bro, he can win. He can win it. He can win it all.
Yeah, Xander's. I feel like Xander's low key that guy.
Yeah.
Like. I mean, he wins in the Olympics. He comes close in a lot of the big tournaments. The Masters still eludes him, but he's there.
Yeah,
it's not like he's far off. So
he's not. Yeah, he's not that far off. So hopefully, you know, if you know, I think he should play, but because I know, like we said, he didn't play the Farmers. At least I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see who wins.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well. we'll tune into that. Like you said, a few of the guys from the group are going. We'll see if I end up going. I think you said you're not going to be able to make it, right?
No, I know Abe still had an extra ticket for Thursday, but Thursdays probably going to be pouring and yeah, maybe. But Sundays we have skins, so we don't.
Yeah.
Unless we go afterwards. Who knows?
We'll see.
If somebody scores a hole in one, that'll be
pay the tickets.
Pay the tickets.
Yeah.
Forget about the beer. Pay the tickets.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right on. Well, bro, it's been a good episode. I got one more question for you, and I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. I don't know about a curveball.
All right, let's go.
But as everyone knows, we're trying to expand with the brand. Get into the podcast. Well, we've been in the podcast space, being in the YouTube space. So you guys have seen Omar on the pod. You've seen him on the YouTube channel. But before this episode started, bro, when he heard that you and I were going to be doing an episode, he wanted me to call you out on his behalf. He said, HopDon.
Come on.
Are we going to HopDon? When is the Omar versus HopDon match going to happen? Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot to say a date, time, or whatever, but you got anything to say to your challenger, Omar?
Wow, Omar. I know you weren't man enough to come and ask yourself, but hey, whenever you want, we can just go back and forth. And I know we both are family people. We have kids now, but
yeah,
I'll put my kids aside to beat you on a weekend. So you got that. I know you didn't listen, but he didn't go play Arrowwood. He's like, I don't want to go play there. You're gonna play, and I'm a little scared. So I was like, all right, let's go. So there you go, Omar. That ain't no curveball. I hit it out of the park. Bro. I whenever, I don't care. Let's just get this over with. I told him that I'd beat him on it with his own clubs.
With his own clubs?
Well, his own brand of clubs, because I'm hitting the Apex right now.
You both are playing the Apexes now? Yeah.
So I'll be like, I buy the clubs from your company for where you work for, and I beat you with them too. So,
dang. Yeah, all right. Well, all right, man. Dang, I'm kind of left a little speechless there, but we'll pick a date. So HopDon saying any date. So I think I'm gonna have to step in here. I'm gonna pick a date for you guys. So stay tuned, Golferos. I'm gonna post that on the Golferos story.
Yeah. We'll even not live stream it, but we'll get live stories. I don't know.
I think what we'll do is I'll post stories throughout the round, and then depending on where the score is at, maybe I'll go live and I'll record the last few holes. Yeah, and you guys are probably just seeing this, but there's been a little tension between the homies lately. calling out each other's game.
He called me out. He I don't even He just kind of said I think there was an Instagram story thing where you would post call someone out or they wants to, and he called me out and I'm like, what? Me? I'll fine then. I'll do it. I don't care. But yeah, so we've been trying to make that work for a while and it hasn't happened, but. Just like it hadn't happened to me on the podcast. Now I'll make that other match work.
Yeah. It'll happen. Yeah. Just like the podcast happened, the match will happen. We're having our own the match. Yeah. We do have some detail set though. We picked the golf course, so Twin Oaks. Playing from the whites.
Playing from the whites because I can't drive. So
okay. So yeah, Twin Oaks playing from the whites. And I think we're comboing it because, we don't want it to just be straight up stroke play, because one guy could have a bad day, whatever it is. So I think we're going to do stroke play, match play, all at the same time. And I think there's a third game in there. We'll figure it out. We'll post it. But
Omar wanted 3 different things because he couldn't just do one. So he wanted to have multiple chances to win. I'm like, all right, you can do whatever you want. So I don't know what this guy, he thinks that he can beat everyone, but we'll get that out of the way and then we'll trickle down. Maybe I'll take out Ralph too or something.
Oh, calm down. Hey, calmado, dog. Chill. Oh
but
man,
we'll get that set up. At least we have a core set.
yeah,
So that's the one thing we needed. So it'll be Twin Oaks, and we'll figure out the date. It should be sooner than later, though,
yeah,
because I don't want to. I don't care when we play, but obviously when there's nicer weather, it's just better for everyone.
yeah. It's coming. It's coming. So stay tuned for that, Golferos. But outside of that, bro, this has been a really fun podcast. Like we've been saying, it's been a long time coming, bro.
Yeah,
So,
I'll be back on it more now. So,
Yeah.
we'll interview other people and
exactly.
shoot to shit.
Shout out to Dogleg. They want to have us in here more for these episodes, so we'll be doing more here. If you're in the area, please stop on by and check out Dogleg. You've probably been hearing it throughout the episode, but they got a simulator back there. You can book it, lock that down. Super dog friendly. You've probably been hearing that too. Dogs in the background, and then on top of that, they got pretty damn good beer. So with that,
Can't beat that.
Salud Golferos.
Salute.